Hi everyone, my name is Jim Shear. I'm the author of the book Jazz Basics. It's a workbook that we use with our online Music 201 classes at New Mexico State University, Doña Ana branch, and our other branch community colleges. It's also used at other colleges and universities around the country. So if you're somewhere else watching this, you're going to see an introduction to the book, but also to the interface we use at NMSU, that is Canvas. You may have Blackboard, WebCT, or some other learning system, or you may be accessing the book directly through the publisher's website, Kendall Hunt. That's perfectly fine too. It'll look different from this. It'll be the same basic material, but this one's geared toward NMSU and our branch campuses. Normally we start you off right here with the Get Started video, and we work you right through the modules. As I'm filming this, we're in the middle of the COVID-19 crisis, so you've got some COVID material up here and some important links down here at the bottom. Click on this active link, or you can go up to the module. It'll open up the COVID module. You're going to see this in every class you take at NMSU this fall or all our branch campuses. And you have to go through, watch the video, fill out the paperwork, pledge that you'll behave, do all the things they say do, take a quiz. So get all of that done, because we can't grade any of your work until that is completed. Most of the rest of the time, though, you're going to watch this Get Started video and you're going to get going in the class. The first thing you need is access to the book. Now, with the online classes, we encourage you that you use the ebook. There is a print version of the book, and some of you may have it and you may be using it, and that's okay, but the ebook seems to work better in the fully online world. There's a link to it. Go right here and you can purchase the book. If for some reason you have a print version of the book, if you have a print version of the book, sorry, I make myself laugh sometimes, you'll have an access code in the front cover. Simply put that access code in there, hit next, it'll take you through the process. That's a one-time process. Once you've got access, this is the interface you will use all semester, and you simply put in your login, mine's my email, sign in, and it's going to take you to some sort of page like this. Now yours may look a little different from mine, but it'll probably have New Mexico State, and it'll have some kind of toggle. You find your section of the class. I'm just going to show you mine. And you hit submit and it takes you to the class. Now the first thing you'll hit is this welcome page. This again is a one-time thing, but you need to acknowledge you've read the syllabus, that you have legal streaming access to the music through Spotify, that you have legal access to the website, because we're dealing with book and music royalties here, in particular music royalties and rights, and it gets really complicated, and you have to have legal access through Spotify, or you can get sued, I can get sued, NMSU can get sued. You don't want to mess with music copyrights. They get really crazy. So acknowledge that you've got all the legal rights, and again, you'll do this one time. We can't grade any of your work until you've done it, so make sure you have legal access to the Kendall Hunt website and Spotify, which is different. You do not get legal Spotify access with this. Well, if you have a Spotify account, it's going to pop right up as long as you have it open and on. But if you've never used Spotify before, trust me, it's very user-friendly. I'll show you some more in just a minute. Again, this is a one-time thing. Most of the time, you're going to go right here to the ebook. And here's all the chapters in the ebook. Now, you'll also see a lot of other things. Chapter activities, a glossary. This says Napster, but it's going to say Spotify real soon. We just got to update that. And the grade book. At NMSU, at the branch campuses, we don't use any of this stuff. We have it all on Canvas. So we work through Canvas. If you're at another university, you could be using chapter activities, all that stuff right here. Now, if you're at NMSU, gradebook, again, we don't post anything at NMSU. If you're at another school, you might use that. But if you're at NMSU or the branch campuses, I encourage you to look at this stuff. The chapter activities are very useful. There's a lot of cool stuff in each one of these. You have some of the activities we're doing on Canvas. A different version is posted here, dig deeper stuff, reviews. The glossary is very useful for study. You can click on anything and it'll tell you what it is, but you can also create flashcards. You can modify it any way you want. So it's a lot of useful stuff. But for the most part, we'll be using Canvas and you'll be accessing the ebook here. Now the ebook works great, and you're going to see a lot of individual videos as you go through the modules that show you how these things work. So I'm going to go real quick here. But basically, throughout the book there are listening guides. And each one of those listening guides has an embedded Spotify link. So as long as you've got Spotify open, just click on that. And the music starts to play. You can see that there's a running time code here, and this time code is also right here. And so as you listen, look at the time code there, and you can follow along with the listening guide. Very, very useful. There are dig deeper links throughout, and they are all active in the ebook. So click on any of them and it'll open in a new page. Again, if you have the print book, of course the dig deepers aren't active in a print book, but you have access to this HTML book, so you can always come here even if you're using a print version of the book. So there you go. That's the Kendall Hunt website. That's the book and what we do. Now, like I say, most of the time you're going to access everything you do in the class through the modules. You have some how-tos here on the Canvas homepage, how to use the modules, how to do the chapter homeworks, how to do here's the rubric for that, how to do the listening and the rubric for that. Here are the Spotify playlists I mentioned. Now, you can click on any one of these blue links and it will download the document into your computer. Click on the little magnifying glass, that's the preview tool, and it opens it in the Canvas page. So here's a link to the Spotify homepage. Here's a link to each chapter's individual playlist. So you just click on that. Again, it opens up Spotify, and there's all the playlists. This is for Chapter 7, Hard Bop. Here's the entire playlist for that chapter. Now, if you've never used Spotify before, again, you're going to fall in love with this. Press play, it'll play the playlist straight down. Press any one of them, it'll play that chart. Again, you can go forward or backward within the tune. But good old Spotify, here's the required material for the chapter, this right here. But they always give you recommended songs too, and the longer you let this play, the more this will just keep going and adding more songs too. And so you can take a super deep dive into the music of any one of these chapters at any time. So again, the top playlist, that's the required material. On down, this is just extra really cool stuff. Let me close that. Here's the modules. Again, you got the COVID one at the top right now. If you're watching 3 years from now and this video is still posted, hopefully COVID's over by then. And you go right through the chapters. Each chapter in our online world is usually a week, or for some of the longer, more complicated chapters, we give you 2 weeks to get the work done. Each chapter begins with a brief overview. Click that. It'll open a YouTube video that shows you through the chapter, kind of what I'm doing now, but chapter specific. And then you have a quiz. Each quiz is timed. You can only take it once, but it's an open book quiz. So here's what we recommend. Read the chapter with care, get to know all of the material, feel comfortable with it, and then take the quiz. It's basically directed reading. It's going to take you right to the most important stuff you need to know. Once you've done that, you get an active listening exercise. These active listening exercises are all different. The first couple are tied directly to an active listening podcast that is posted on our Canvas homepage. It's on the homepage. Here's a link to it. Just press it and it starts to play.
Hi, this is Jim Shearer. I'm the author of Classical Basics and the Jazz Basic.
And it goes right through. You can, again, fast forward. There's an hour's worth of information about active listening here. And we'll ask you some questions about that. This basically is set up to sort of work like a quiz, but the truth is you might want to do some of this work offline, and that's perfectly fine. You can do multiple attempts here. You can go and come from this page as much as you want. There's some true, false, multiple choice, but there's always some written narrative too. All of them have written narrative answers. And this is active listening exercise. So a lot of times there is no right or wrong answer here. We're grading you on effort. We're grading you on how detailed you are in your descriptions. Your opinions are yours and they're fine. Some of them will say, do you like this? Why? Do you like this one better or this one better? Why? Do you think this will be famous in the future? Why? Why not? We're asking you to think critically about this music, and again, it says it right here at the top. There are no right or wrong answers. You're graded on your efforts. So as long as you put a lot of effort into it, even if you describe some musical technical terms wrong, that's perfectly fine. It's cool. You're learning how to do this. We don't expect you to be a trained musician. We expect you to enter this music at your level and experience it how you experience it. That's the whole point of developing more active listening skills. So every one of these has an active listening response. Read them carefully. They're all similar, but they're all a little bit different. Same with the homeworks. Each chapter homework will start with learning objectives, and then it'll tell you to read the chapter, do the listening. You're going to be asked to answer one or two, usually both, essay questions. They're found at the end of each chapter in the HTML book or at the end of the print book chapters. And you're going to be asked to answer those. You're going to write out narrative. 1 or 2 paragraphs is usually fine. Sometimes it asks you to read something specific in the book and write a response to that. This one does. This one says listen to the active listening exercise, learn all of that. That's cool. And then usually the last half of the exercise will be a series of videos. Again, read these all with care because the writing prompts are all similar, but they're different. So this one says after you've done this, watch the following YouTube performances. Pick so many of them, 4 or 5, it depends on the exercise 6. And you're going to write minute by minute responses to this music. You're going to describe it. You're going to talk about the music, what you're experiencing. That's right here. So this is how to do. So how to do the essay questions, how to write the video I'm talking about now. You can use 2 different formats for the time codes. In this span of time, this happens, or in minute 1, this happens, in minute 2, this happens. When you put new music terms that you're learning into your writing, put them in bold, put them in capital letters, offset them in some way. It's not super formal writing for college, but it is college. So italicized foreign terms, italicized proper titles. It's still scholarly writing. It's not third person, term paper writing, but you still want to be scholarly about it. And basically what we encourage you to do is create all of this in a Word doc or some other word processing program, turn it into a PDF. This program will accept DACC, DOCX, and PDF. That's the only 3 formats you can upload your final homework in. So if you do it in Pages or something else, you've got to convert it to a PDF or we can't see it and we can't grade it. That's really critical. So here's a little sample homework. So again, put your name on it, class, section, blah, blah, blah. Here's the first essay question, a couple of paragraphs here. Here's the second essay question, a couple of paragraphs here. You start doing the video reviews. Here's how you do the time codes. And every chapter, when you get to the end of the videos, ask you to then go somewhere on the internet. YouTube is best, but you can go elsewhere. Find a video that's appropriate for this chapter. Do the same kind of review work on it and submit the review and the link. So you do the same kind of time-coded review, but you also here have to submit an active link to the video you're choosing to review. We've got to see that. That's how we grade it. So then once you've got it all done, again, save it as a PDF works best, upload it into the homework area. We go on SpeedGrader. We have a lot of tools as professors we can grade it with. We can mark it. We can annotate it. We can write personal responses back to you. And once we have all that done, we'll post your grade in Canvas. It'll show up in the grades over here on the left-hand side, and you'll be notified, hey, your homework's been graded, and away you go. That's it. That's the modules, and that's the whole class. Just work your way through these modules. Again, do in a week, do in a week, do in a week. This one you get 2 weeks on because it's much longer. Chapter 7 is the same way. You get 2 weeks on this. We've got Thanksgiving thrown in here, so that allows you some extra time for these later chapters, which are also a little bit bigger. Everything else on the homepage, basically for you. Here's links to all the how-tos again. You can download those or you can preview them here. Here's the active listening thing I was talking about. Some of our professors like to use PowerPoints, and we have those all posted here. There's some online writing tools. I have a link to Pandora, great music, jazzradio.com. You can spend years just listening to this. All About Jazz is a great website. A lot of our professors like to put their personal websites on there. We have those right there. And that's it. Grades, modules. Some professors will use announcements, so there those are. We keep the discussion, the chat up. Most professors don't use them, but if students want to talk back and forth or discuss various topics, if there are live concerts that you want to go attend, hey, you want to get together and go to this concert, you can use this right here. It's really cool. And then we have some other NMSU, typical NMSU links here as well. So that's it. That's the class. That's how it works. All of this is for you. Again, right now we're in the middle of COVID. Make sure you handle this special COVID stuff. If it's 2025 and you're still watching this video, hopefully that won't be here anymore. I hope you have a great semester. I hope you hear a lot of fantastic music and you end the class being the world's greatest jazz fan. Enjoy.